This is my challenge to Christians or anybody who believes in their particular God. While I was dealing with an awful lot of abuse, I went into every friggin' church trying to find an answer. And I found no answers in any church. There was no compassion, there was no love, there was more anger and hate in church and more lies being told in church. There was one church where, um, they're trying to clean their bodies, and yet they had coffee. They were serving coffee while you listen to this preacher. This preacher also said, do not associate with other people that believe in other gods. So it's almost like if you go into these churches, they're sort of encouraging war. They're not encouraging love and community, but separation from community. Um, there is this belief, like, here's my challenge, teach me what you believe in and how it makes any sense at all. But this Jesus phenomenon, I think, most people sort of got it wrong. Um, we're supposed to believe that some guy died on a cross for your sins. So it's okay for you to sin. We're sinners. It's almost like to be a Christian is to be an admitted sinner, and that's okay because as long as I believe in some guy that died on a cross, I'll be saved. And it's like, what are you going to be saved from? You're going to die and then go to a wonderful place? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Um, Everything that's going to end up killing you is a sin. So it's like the sins that you're agreeing to commit because you believe in a guy is going to end up killing you, but that's okay because you believe death is okay. It's something that we all instinctually fear and know that death is wrong. Otherwise, we'd be encouraging everybody just kill yourselves. But what we're not seeing from my perspective is we're all killing ourselves. Every action we do is going to kill ourselves. All our beliefs are killing ourselves. We're seeing this in a global perspective that, okay, as long as we're going to manipulate people, find your happiness, buy this car, I mean, that's nothing but heavy duty manipulation in our sales and marketing. Why? So that we can be successful. So anybody that's believing in a religion, look at your bank accounts. How did you earn your money? Did you manipulate somebody into buying into a concept that would make you happy? How are you making your living and who did you take advantage of to get your living? And now that you have this big bank account, you think you're doing something right. And you want everybody else to say, hey, see, I'm doing it right. I got the most money. That kind of mentality is sort of destroying our world because, look at what oil is doing. I've had a conversation with another guy that is saying, God's going to show up and we better start believing in God, because we're destroying ourselves. Look at the oil. And it's like, do you drive a car? Do you use gas? Well, how do you think they get that gas from? By that offshore thing. And then I had suggested to the guy that there is this guy, Dr. Vernon Wolf, who created systems that can transform all toxic waste into pure, clean energy. There was no, oh, let me talk to this guy, or, let's further investigate it. Let's participate in the solution of what we're doing to ourselves. No, it was all focused on me and what I believe to be Jesus. There was, and sinning, and it's okay for us to sin because we're sinners. And that is such a crock. From my perspective and where I'm coming from, because I am a sinner too. I admit I am a sinner and it's wrong. And I'm affected by other people, and we don't see that. We don't see that our words and actions do affect other people. If you come from a source of hate, trust that that hate is going to be transformed into somebody else and somebody else's behaviors. And that's where you have to be strong enough and have that will to not fall into that. Now, I was beaten when I was 3 years old. Um, Emotionally beaten, constantly being told you're no good, you have nothing to offer, you're no good, you have nothing to offer. And we don't realize that we turn into what we're being accused of. Now, this guy had posted on my videos and was accusing me of, being the problem of our economic system, that I'm on a welfare system taking advantage and I'm committing fraud. And I'm like, no, what was the cause of me being on the system? I mean, if you don't want to recognize the cause, guess what? You're going to be homeless, as I was. You're going to need some assistance after you've lost everything. And if we don't start changing something, then by the time you need it, it ain't going to be there. So I'm kind of, showing my diary to sort of set the example of, okay, does this make any sense? Where is it you want to get to? Where do you want to go? And how is it that we get there? I, you know, I'm a sinner, but we got to stop doing that. I got to stop smoking. I got to start cherishing my body. I can't be affected by somebody's negative perceptions of me. I know I'm not the cause of the economic system. I know I'd rather work. I know I'd rather heal my arms. I know I'd rather be out and being productive within society. But if I get caught up in somebody's negativity, which I was, it definitely affected me. I lost drive and motivation to work out. There's 2 days I believe that I did nothing but sat and tried to remain calm and reflect, and generally you do gain some strength, which I do believe I've gained some strength from that conversation. Every time you experience a challenge, it's your opportunity to grow from. And I definitely feel that from that conversation, I grew a little bit stronger by just saying, you know what, I'm not buying into your anger and your hate. Um, I'm going to quit smoking, and I'm going to stop being the sinner, because God will show up. My life will show up when I show up. Jesus didn't die on a cross. This is my perspective. Teach me where I'm wrong. But Jesus didn't die on a cross for your sins. He showed you that if you do not sin like me, then nobody can kill you. And can you love those who are torturing you? Can you still have love within your heart and not do harm to yourself? And then he set the example and showed you that you can't be killed, no matter what anybody does to you, no matter what hardship anybody does to you. You can't die. God saves you. Saves you means, like if you're drowning, you're going to either die or live. It's like you will be living. That's the idea of saving you from death. I mean, imagine what our planet would be like if we had no sin on it. Would we still be experiencing the exact same experiences if not one person on this planet sinned? Can we love our enemies to the point where we still are coming from a source of love? You cannot make any changes. You cannot help another person out until you help yourself out. And I'm setting the example. It's like, okay, I'm the sinner. Here is, the example. But here's where I want to be. I'm trying to get towards my solution. And this is the example that I'm using. And if I want God to save me, then I pretty much have to stop sinning. God helps those who help themselves. Or do you not believe in that? There's another concept of we're God's children. if we're God's children, don't we have the same capabilities as God? And wouldn't we only see those capabilities if we were open to it? If